The quiet town of Mount Olivet, Kentucky, was thrust into the national spotlight when a horrific crime was uncovered. The case involved 32-year-old Torilena May Fields, who was arrested after police discovered her mother's dismembered and partially cooked body at their shared residence.
Around 12:26, I believe, we got a call from a subject in Robertson County stating there's a possible dead body in the backyard of a resident. Responded, found a dead female in the backyard, tried to make contact with somebody at the house. The house was locked up.
The gruesome nature of the crime shocked not only the local community but the nation as it unfolded, revealing a chilling story of violence and mental illness. The story begins when two workers, hired by Trudy Fields to do repairs around her house, arrived at the property. They expected an ordinary day's work, but what they found would haunt them forever. Upon arriving, they found that no one answered the door, and curious drag marks led them to the backyard. There, in plain sight, they found the dismembered remains of 56-year-old Trudy Fields, Torilena's mother, lying on a blood-soaked mattress. The workers immediately called the Kentucky State Police, KSP. Officers responded to the scene quickly. As they investigated the gruesome discovery in the backyard, they became increasingly concerned about who was inside the house. When they tried to make contact with Torilena, the situation took an eerie turn. She refused to answer the door or acknowledge the officer's presence. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the police secured a search warrant and prepared to enter the house by force if necessary.
Getting a search warrant for the residence, our special response team responded to serve that search warrant due to the circumstances surrounding the body and unknown what's in the property in the house. She is currently being cleared at the hospital and will be transported to the Bourbon County Detention Center upon release from the hospital.
Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. Inside the home, the investigators made even more disturbing discoveries. They found blood on the walls, a second blood-stained mattress that had been moved, and, shockingly, a pot in the oven filled with human body parts that were still warm. The police were horrified as they realized that Torilena had attempted to cook her mother's remains. Torilena, who had blood on her face, hands, and clothing, was eventually taken into custody after being forcibly removed from the home. The crime stunned the local community, who could not fathom what had driven Torilena to commit such a heinous act.
You hear of certain people, like domestic violence cases and stuff like that, but I've never heard of something so awful. And when I first heard about it, I was extremely shocked. Everyone was shocked. No one could believe that something like that happened this close, stuff like that. And you just, from the outside, you don't see it.
Neighbors and family members were quick to describe her as a troubled individual, but they couldn't have imagined she was capable of such brutality. Further investigation revealed that Torilena had not only shot and stabbed her mother, but had also gone to the lengths of dismembering her body and attempting to cook parts of it. This crime led to a charge of murder, alongside charges of tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. It was clear to detectives and prosecutors that Torilena's mental state was a significant factor in the crime. Family members spoke out about Torilena's troubled past, particularly an incident years earlier that seemed to mark the beginning of her mental decline. Torilena had once been an aspiring actress in California, but a motorcycle accident had left her with a traumatic brain injury. Following the injury, her behavior grew increasingly erratic, and family members noticed a change in her personality. What was once a vibrant life filled with dreams of stardom spiraled into a dark place of isolation and mental instability. Despite the horrifying nature of the crime, Torilena's family expressed a complex mix of emotions. In interviews, they voiced a deep sadness for both Trudy, the victim, and for Torilena herself. They believed the motorcycle accident had played a major role in her mental decline, and that the crime was as much a reflection of Torilena's illness as it was of anything else. The Fields family expressed forgiveness and their continued love for Torilena, believing that her actions were the result of her untreated mental health issues. As Torilena awaits trial, the case has garnered attention for the gruesome details of the crime, but also for the light it has shed on mental health struggles and their potential to lead to devastating consequences if left untreated. With charges of murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence, Torilena May Fields now faces a lifetime in prison. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.